don't check them in. Don't check them into your suitcase, because if you're going, for example, from here to Dubai, your suitcase, you're going to get it all the way in Jeddah. Okay? So make sure it's in your hand luggage. Don't put it in your suitcase. Put on the ihram towels in the airport at the last stop of your trip before boarding the flight to Jeddah. It's extremely difficult to put on ihram towels in the airplane. Obviously, if you go to the bathroom, very, very tight, and maybe there's insecurity everywhere because people are not taking care of using the bathroom properly. So putting on the ihram in that situation is very difficult. So put it on before getting on the plane and make the intention like half an hour, 45 minutes before the plane out. Medina first, like I said, your first stop is Medina, and you do not need to assume ihram on your way to Medina. You can buy ihram towels from Medina, and your miqat for Umrah is Dhul Hulayfa, which is also known as Abiyar Ali. Okay, if you leave Medina on the 7th or the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, then it may be difficult to do Umrah before Hajj. A few slides at the end of the Hajj procedure will explain how one can change his or her niyyah and show a number of possible scenarios. Okay, so now the people who are in Medina, we've started basically the ihram now. People of Makkah, they put the ihram on before they landed in Jeddah. People in Medina, they land in Medina, they're going to be relaxed for 3-4 days, get over their jet lag and everything, and then they will proceed to Makkah. Before they proceed to Makkah, before they get onto the bus, they'll put the ihram on, and they will stop at a place which is called Dhul Hulayfa, or known commonly over there as Abiyar Ali, which is like 20 minutes or so outside of Medina. They can actually put on the ihram from there too, but it's better to be prepared, put the ihram keys on, but they would make the intention at Abiyar Ali. Make the intention there, pray 2 rakat, and make the intention of Umrah, because what we are doing is called Hajj Tamattu. Okay, there are 3 types of Hajj, which we'll probably go into detail afterwards, but there are 3 types of Hajj. One is called Hajj Tamattu, one is called Hajj Ifrad, one is called Hajj Qiran. And we are going to do what's called Hajj Tamattu, which is the easiest Hajj to perform. And Ifrad is basically for those people that for some reason, because of lack of time or because they live locally in Mecca, they cannot perform Umrah, they will just perform Hajj. Okay? As for the person who is performing Umrah and then coming out of Ihram, that's called Hajj Tamattu. And he will assume Ihram later on after a few days when the days of Hajj start. That's why it's called Tamattu. Tamattu means to make a benefit from it, to take a benefit from or to relax. That's why it's the easiest one. Otherwise, if you do Hajj Qiran is you assume Hajj, the Umrah, the Ihram for Umrah, and you keep on the Ihram until the Hajj is finished. So that's basically, you can say, it can be up to about 8 to 10 days. So rather than doing that, do Tamattu, which is the easiest one. Okay? So do the Ihram, finish the Umrah, and then come out of the state of Ihram. That's called Hajj Tamattu. Okay, the mawaqit is the plural of miqat, the geographical boundary that a person intending for Hajj or Umrah may not cross without assuming ihram. This is basically, it's kind of just for your general knowledge. If you look at this map, depending on which area you're coming from, okay? If you're coming from Jeddah, then basically the boundary is just outside of Jeddah, okay? If you are coming from the north, okay, which is at Medina, then Dhul Hulayfa or Abiyar Ali is the boundary. And all of these others are depending on which way you're coming from. If you're coming from Yemen, then the miqat will be Yalamlam and so on. Okay, so that's basically just for your knowledge, but it's not necessary to keep that in mind. Okay, now the Haram of Makkah, I mentioned this before, the issue of the Haram, some people think the Haram is only in front of the Kaaba. Actually, the Haram is all around the city of Makkah. The whole city of Makkah and its surrounding is known as the Haram. The Prophet ﷺ actually made the boundaries, and according to this, he sent Tamim ibn Asad al-Khuzai to review the boundaries of the Haram. And it's 212 square miles. 212 square miles around the Kaaba. So it's a big distance. It's not a short distance. So here is basically Al-Masjid al-Haram right in the middle. Okay? All the rest of this area is basically regarded as Al-Haram. Okay? All of these mountains around it is regarded as Haram. So basically, if you are in Aziziyah, etc., you are going to be in the area of Haram. Okay, so if you cannot make it to the Kaaba, for whatever reason, like I said, there's no need to get emotional. Perform the Salat at the local masjid, and inshallah you will be getting exactly the same reward. Okay? Of course, we have this zeal to see the Kaaba and be close to the Kaaba at all times as much as possible. That's why we form there. But our zeal should not translate into bad emotion, that translates into anger, that translates into taking it out on people that are around us, basically nullifying or weakening the reward that we're supposed to get for Hajj. So basically, this shows all of the Hajj. There are restrictions while we are in the Haram of Makkah. The plants must not be cut. The game, what does it mean? The animals, okay? The animals must not be frightened. The articles lost in it must not be picked up except by someone making announcements to find the owner. In Makkah, nobody is supposed to pick up arms to fight anybody else. Okay? You're not supposed to be fighting in the Haram. Okay, now we're going to do the things which we are supposed to do in Umrah, and this is the important part. This is the thing that everybody needs to pay attention to, because this is actually the first part of Hajj. Okay, I know it's getting a little bit late. We'll try to do it as much as possible. What are the things? The pillar, obligatory act, sunnah, manasik, prohibitions of ihram, taqidiyah, and hadi. These are actually definitions that we should know about before we actually perform the Hajj itself. Okay, let's see. This presentation actually goes into a lot of stuff, which is useful, but for the presentation that we're doing, it's kind of very long. Okay, now we're going to do the Umrah. Okay, what is the Umrah? Umrah is basically the first step for Hajj, and like we said, we're going to do Hajj Tamattu. So firstly, we're going to be performing the Umrah. There are 4 steps in Umrah. The first is Ihram and Talbiyah. Ihram and Talbiyah, basically I've said what Talbiyah is. You adopt Ihram and you start saying Talbiyah. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, inna alhamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk, la sharika laka. Now you're in the state of Ihram. The first thing you do when you enter into the Haram, into the actual sanctuary, is to perform the Tawaf. Okay? And we're going to go into the details about that. Okay? What is the Ihram? We've talked about the Ihram already when we're going to do it, for the people of Jeddah. And when you are making the intention, you say, Labbaik Allahumma Umrah. Labbaik Allahumma Umrah. Here I am, O Allah, intending for Umrah. and you start making the talbiyah. Talbiyah should be continued until you see the Kaaba or until the rami of the largest Jamrah in the case of Hajj. Okay? So you carry on making talbiyah when you adopt ihram. As soon as you see the Kaaba, that's when you stop making the talbiyah. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, inna alhamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk, la sharika lak. And you make talbiyah especially while descending or ascending during travel, joining a party of people after every salat, in the morning and evening. Talbiyah should be recited aloud. Making talbiyah in a low voice is against the sunnah of the Prophet. Okay, what are the prohibitions of ihram? Men cannot wear any sewn clothes, such as a shirt, turban, hooded cloak, trousers, underwear, socks or shoes. Women can wear their normal clothes, but without covering their face or hands. What is forbidden to wear during the state of ihram is not stitched materials in themselves, but those garments that are made to fit the limbs and are usually worn by people in normal state, such as shirts, pants and t-shirts. Okay, so basically anything with sleeves is what's prohibited. Not the stitching itself, but the sleeves. You should not wear gloves, although there is no harm in wrapping the hands in cloth. Fragrance, not allowed.